ARRL Field Day 2016 with the Cherryland Amateur Radio Club in Traverse City, Michigan. And now a brief overview of the 2016 Cherryland Amateur Radio Club Field Day site. The Cherryland Amateur Radio Club Field Day event focuses on fellowship and fun. At the heart, the very center of the site, we have the social tent and a parking area. This provides easy access and a central gathering place. It's also where all the meals are served. The all-band CW station is at a prime location for view and propagation. The solar trailer provided power for almost all of our field day needs. The 20-meter station wins the Best View While Operating award, and the tri-band beam atop the tower really pulls in the signals. The 40-meter station is on the crest of a small hill and is 5 switchable dipoles suspended by a tower flying Old Glory. Oh, and did I mention the prime location? We operate from a cherry orchard within Kiessel Farms, which is in the agricultural corridor along Center Highway between Suttons Bay and Traverse City. Bill and Don Kiessel have been generous to the Cherryland ARC for a number of years, and the club has very much enjoyed the annual use of this prime radio operating location for its height, takeoff angle, and relatively low noise floor. Oh, yes, and the spectacular views. At the highest point of the clearing, we have the combined 15-meter and 80-meter station. For those inclined, camping is encouraged, and some chose to make it a 3-day weekend at the site, arriving Friday evening and assisting with setup into Saturday. As you can see this year, the Cherryland Amateur Radio Club enjoyed the use of 2 different drones to fly around taking aerial shots of the grounds. Special thanks go to pilots Chris Napati and Joshua Peters, KD8YXU. And finally, the best reason to operate from such a wonderful location, the view of West Grand Traverse Bay looking east. From the water's west shore, the elevation steadily increases. The Cherryland Amateur Radio Club is most notably unique for being the only field day station in America to be operating from a working cherry orchard. It's a fitting location for the area's premier amateur radio club, located in the cherry capital of the world, Traverse City, Michigan. Your 2016 Cherryland Amateur Radio Club Field Day site. Here's the Red Lion Motor Lodge. There's Fort Road. On M22, north of Traverse City, almost halfway from Traverse City to Suttons Bay, it's a left turn west onto Fort Road and up the hills. Bill and Don Kiessel were born and raised on a farm in the area. By the time Don was 23, he already knew that he wanted to settle down in Leelanau County, in a place of his own with his wife Jan and their growing family. Don drove up and down the back roads asking every farm family if they wanted to sell. Finally, Lena Rader and Stuart Gravold on Fort Road agreed to sell Don their farm, but just a lot at first. Yeah, but I wonder which way we go. You think we should follow that sign? Okay, let's go this way. We'll follow the sign.
Hey, see any cherries?
Yes. I see lots of cherries.
Any red ones?
No. They all look very, very green. A little orange. I wonder which way we're going now. I guess this way, huh?
There's just
Don and Stuart walked along Fort Road from the southeast corner of the existing farm for quite a while. Stuart kept asking, "Is this far enough?" To which Don replied, "No, let's go a little further." Alright, go for
HCN or NAWC, whatever it is today, KD and MTT, ATEX.
NAWC?
We're here at the field day site. Where the heck you be?
Oh, I'm here at the field day site.
Second over?
Oh, I'm here at the field day site. Where you be?
Front of the solar assembly, in front of my trailer, talking on a radio in plain view.
Well, you just need to define a perimeter. That cloud of dust moving towards you is a van with a trailer.
Okay, good. We were just getting worried about you. Good deal.
In 1969, for $1,000, Don and his family purchased the lot from Stuart, which started their long-term relationship with the Rader family, and which also eventually led to the purchase of the farm piece by piece, and a life of farming.
Where were we last time?
I don't know. That's a heck of a solar trailer, though.
Oh, yeah. Should have tried. Good thing we brought another solar power. Okay, stop.
It wasn't until 1976 that Don, together with Bill, began farming. They started with 40 acres and 535 cherry trees, and both had full-time jobs at the time. For over 2 decades, all the money they made from farming was reinvested in land, equipment, barns, and trees. Today, they manage over 500 acres, some owned and some leased, with 250 acres in active production, including 2,500 cherry trees. During harvest season, 3 generations of the family work on the farm. Bill and his wife Betty have 2 children and 7 grandchildren. Don and Jan have 3 children, 8 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren. Don graduated from Suttons Bay in a class of 22 kids. He married his high school sweetheart, Jan. They love to farm, and they do it for family and community. Bill says, "We allow neighbors to walk on our land. We open it up for community events like Harvest Stampede and the Cherryland Amateur Radio Club. We want to leave behind some open space so our children and our grandchildren can enjoy the quality of life we grew up with." Thanks to the generosity of the Kiessel family, we have a lot of space to work with, and the layout of the site is carefully considered. Upon arriving, it should be easy to find a place to park, and a place to walk up and meet a few folks, and get a pulse on the activities. Also, doing things like placing the CW station, which operates on all vans, in a somewhat isolated location from the other stations, we minimize local interference. Of course, proper filtering and grounding always helps too. 15 meters and 20 meters obviously enjoy a nice clean takeoff angle advantage. The power station is centrally located to minimize the length of wire and associated loss and interference from a long distance run of power. And 40 meters enjoys an open and central field of radiation. Just a few feet from the 20 meter station is a very steep cliff. There are a few pretty decent radio advantages for this, of course, but the best advantage is the view. For our 2016 field day, Glenn Johnson, K8SGZ, proposed that the club have a special Friday night Banquet in the Field with the intention of inviting family, friends, significant others, basically anyone who has had to put up with all of the anyone who has invested time, money, resources, and has been supportive of us hams and our hobby activities. It was a great opportunity to say, thanks for everything you do to help us enjoy the hobby. The weather was perfect, the choice of entree was lobster or filet mignon, and it was accompanied with corn and potatoes. There were many dessert options, including creme brulee and blueberry crumb.
Not sure about that, huh?
Is it good?
Yes. You're an omnivore. That means you can eat meat and vegetables.
Uh-oh, incoming.
Everyone had a wonderful evening, and as you can tell from some of the reactions, the food was great. We had a wonderful time, and we enjoyed a beautiful overlook of the bay as the sun went down. Time to go get some coffee. So, what are we doing here? What is Field Day? ARRL Field Day is the single most popular on-the-air event held annually in the US and Canada. On the fourth weekend of June each year, more than 35,000 radio amateurs gather with their clubs, groups, or simply with friends to operate from remote locations. Field Day is a picnic, a campout, a practice for emergencies, an informal contest, and most of all, fun. It's a time where many aspects of amateur radio come together to highlight our many roles. Yep. While some will treat this as a contest, other groups use the opportunity to practice their emergency response capabilities. It is an excellent opportunity to demonstrate amateur radio to the organizations that amateur radio might serve in an emergency as well as the general public. For many clubs, ARRL Field Day is one of the highlights of their annual calendar. The contest part is simply to contact as many other stations as possible and to learn to operate our radio gear in abnormal situations and less than optimal conditions. We use these same skills when we help with events such as marathons, bike-a-thons, fundraisers, walk-a-thons, celebrations, parades, exhibits at fairs, malls, and museums. These are all large, pre-planned, non-emergency activities. But despite the development of very complex modern communication systems, or maybe because they are so complex, ham radio has been called into action again and again to provide communications in crises when it really matters. Amateur radio people, also called hams, are well known for our communication support in real disaster and post-disaster situations. This is why coffee is so important. The Cherryland ARC begins setup on Friday, which according to the rules reduces the number of hours the club may operate during the contest. A 3-hour penalty for early setup means that we must conclude operations by 1800 UTC on Sunday, while other stations can operate until 2100 UTC. We're actually allowed to start setting up for Field Day up to 24 hours before operations begin, which is why we show up Friday night and get things at least laid out in the field. Most of the hard setup takes place on Saturday. Therefore, it's important to have lots of caffeine and a good high-energy breakfast.
Glenn is the man. Tricked it. Good eggs.
Yeah.
Lots of butter.
Can't argue with that.
Yeah.
I'm rolling out here at the Cherryland Amateur Radio Club Field Day site. All of our power right now is solar. Battery bank. We left a lot of extra stuff on last night to make sure that it was going to be able to sustain us today. One of the new tools that the CARC leveraged this year was social media. This is one of 2 Facebook videos that were broadcast live from the field day site. This first video was taken about an hour before the contest officially began. It's a little lax in activity and everybody's making their final preparations to get on the air and stay there for 24 hours straight. The official rules for field day include provisions to award special bonus points to clubs and groups that use media to advertise their field day activities. The club was able to claim these bonus points, improving our overall score in the contest portion of the exercise. Aside from improving the score, the social media outreach also allowed us to reach out to a demographic that maybe wouldn't have been able to even see what the club did on field day, or maybe has never been to a field day activity before, or someone who has never seen the site. There's a few other campers out here, and it looks like we've got a hawk circling today. This is our campsite here. And from up on the hill you can see we're in the middle of an orchard. Come on out and join us. It'll be a lot of fun today. If you can't join us in person, up here on the airwaves. This year, we hope to be supplying all of our energy needs for field day with this solar trailer. We did bring generators, 4 of them. We have not hooked them up and we don't intend on even putting gas in them. We're going to try to subsist solely on the power generated from this trailer. The solar trailer that the club used was designed and built by Chris Parrish, KD8MTT. The solar panels are Solar World 240 polys. They cost about $240 each, and there are 9 panels. This provides 2,160 watts total. The trailer is a Harbor Freight HD 4x8, which costs around $350 and right now is at its maximum load capacity. The shell was made of treated lumber and pole barn steel. There's also a leveling jack for a trailer. The combiner box is a Midnight Solar 6 SPC for around $40. There's a little bulb, and that's a lightning arrestor, which is a Midnight Solar SPD, which is about $100. There are 10 T105 class 6-volt 215 amp hour golf cart batteries at about $100 each. The charge controller is a Midnight Solar Classic 150, which costs around $500. There are 2 Xantrex, now Schneider, SW2000 pure sine wave converters at $350 each. You can also see a large 250 amp DC breaker for the inverters and a breaker for the charge controller. 2 intake fans on the sine converters and 2 switchable exhaust fans on the shell help keep the trailer and its components from overheating and also indicate correct operation. With the power plant firmly in place and operating correctly, operators at the field day site began their operations on schedule and worked throughout the day. It was a busy day making contacts, and it wasn't devoid of technical challenges and obstacles. The band conditions were fair, and they provided for many contacts. The social tent provided respite for the weary and gave people a break from the microphone. A nice banner welcomed visitors and public to check out our operations and see how we were doing. It seemed like there was always food and coffee available, which helped a great deal.
Okay, hang on. Let me switch my antenna over. Hang on. Okay, we copy your 2 Alpha Ohio. Copy our 4 Alpha Michigan. 4 Alpha Michigan.
Operators worked well into the night, often all the way through it. There were a few breaks taken, but not many. The contacts just kept coming.
How's it going?
Not so bad.
How many you got?
Forgot it's on box. Altogether we got 176 and a score of 352.
Sweet.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go all night.
Nice. Glenn's making coffee. Looking good.
Thank you.
And our view is pretty good over here too. Let's go take a look at the CW tent.
When I said we weren't without challenges and obstacles this year, I meant it. Here was the first big one.
How's it going in here?
Not well. We have issues.
What's going on?
It's not, the wind here isn't sending code out. I don't know, it's not responding. And I just plumb don't know what's going on.
How many queues you have?
We have 121.
We have more, except we can't get the wind crew to talk to the radio.
Wind here's not talking to the radio?
Correct.
Huh.
Sometime later, we returned to the CW tent. It had turned out that the center conductor had broken out of an interface cable. It was repaired.
Now, how's it going?
Getting there.
Yeah? Transmitting everything?
Oh yeah. We're in like Flynn now,
Cool.
thanks to you.
Oh, I just found a broken wire.
Yeah, that's all. Took a while for hopes. Starting to heat up, but we got that going.
Oh, that's good.
Now I'm finally on the air.
Sunday morning came pretty early. Everyone had stayed up late, and people had operated like crazy. We were raking in the contacts. Up until the storm, that is. There was a pretty aggressive windstorm, with some rain and even some lightning. All of our operators, equipment, and antennas seemed to survive without incident. We kept going. Our 40-meter phone station was an array of 5 switchable dipole antennas suspended from a tower flying an American flag. The dipoles were controlled from a switch box in the tent with the rest of the radio gear. The radiating element would be pointed towards the direction we wanted to work. The inactive elements would act as directors, sending the signal in our preferred direction.
It's Sunday mid-morning here at the field day site. We're still going strong. Here's the CW operators this morning. Hope, how many contacts we got?
We have 224.
224. Okay. Rocking and rolling. And Ken's over there making contacts in the 20-meter station. Ward's up on the hill, making contacts on 40 meters with the 5 dipoles. And I'm not sure who's up at... Chuck must be up there at 1080. Or 1580, I guess it is.
And Brad.
Oh, Brad's right here.
Okay.
So I think Chuck's on the microphone. So, how are you guys feeling today?
We're supervising.
Supervising?
This is security for the event.
Security for the event. Are we secure?
Everybody's secure.
Oh, good. I'm secure as well. I had a little water on my face last night when the tent started to leak. That threatened my security slightly, but we were able to close that security breach. So,
These are clips from our second live Facebook video from the field. According to the Facebook metrics after the video was shown, more than 40 people watched the video. A few people actually came out and visited the site on the same day after seeing the video. This turned out to be an invaluable public media tool.
One of the most important features of this field day site is that little green building right there.
that's our DC light station.
Yes. Also known as a porta potty.
Yes, it's the most used station of the event, isn't it? All right. Well, if you're free this Sunday, come on out and join us. We'll be operating till noon. And if you're really lucky, you can be part of the takedown crew. We'll close with a beautiful view overlooking West Bay.
Stations participating in Field Day will exchange call signs, signal reports, and operating class identifier during each contact. The Cherryland ARC operates with its club call sign of W8TCM. In 2016, the club used 4 transmitters. The operating class portion of the exchange describes the station type. The CARC used 4A or 4 Alpha in 2016. This means we had 4 transmitters, and club stations are A or Alpha groups. Other groups exist for different types of stations. For instance, B for an individual, C for mobile, and D for a home station.
CQ Field A, CQ Field A, CQ Field A, Whiskey 8, Tango Charlie Mike, Whiskey 8, Tango Charlie Mike.
The voice keyer makes it easy.
USA, K2 USA.
K2 USA, you're 4 Alpha Michigan.
Roger, 4 Alpha Michigan. 4 Foxtrot, November, Juliet.
Our 20-meter phone station utilizes a beam antenna on top of a 30-foot tower. Its performance has been historically well year after year, and Ken is probably the biggest reason why. His operating tactics are professional.
She's taking everybody.
Audrey's like, no.
What's going on, guys? What did you find? What did you find?
There's crystals around. Yeah. Look at that.
Whoa!
There's a big one right there. I think they might be meteors. Yeah, it has to be a meteor. Is it, Dad?
Could be a meteor.
I don't see any giant holes in it. Unless it landed like right there.
And went poof. Maybe it fell from this direction and went poof and made that hill.
Wait a second, no. What if it went from, like, what if there's a bigger one down there? We could go check.
7 Delta Juliet, you're 4 Alpha Michigan.
Oops, I
The CARC did not operate a formal GOTA or Get on the Air station this year. But we weren't lax in outreach and training junior upcoming operators. Ken Musson, W8QKP, as I said earlier, a true professional, excels when demonstrating and involving kids in the art of radio. Many of the kids present had a chance to log and some even to operate at the 20-meter station, as well as other stations at the field day site in 2016.
DJ 1D CWA.
Tango Charlie Mike, Whiskey 8, Tango Charlie Mike, CQ Field A. CQ Field A, CQ Field A, CQ Field A, Whiskey 8, Tango Charlie Mike, Whiskey 8, Tango Charlie Mike, CQ Field A.
Hey Joe, let me show you something.
I tried switching the batteries, but all it does is say there's an error.
Oh, bummer.
Whiskey 8, Tango Charlie Mike, Whiskey 8, Tango Charlie Mike, CQ Field A.
Delta, I think, yeah.
I just represents house.
So A means a group?
We get some extra bonus points for copying the official W1AW bulletin per the field day rules that follow. 80, so I'm going to go up to 40. I've already got it tuned. Copying the bulletin is not going according to plan, however. We're having pretty severe interference on 20 meters from the CW station, and the station is weak on 40 meters and being destroyed by the close proximity 40-meter phone station. Also, we didn't really plan well to copy the bulletin. As a last resort, I download a PSK31 Android app for my smartphone, and I set it on the speaker of the 1580-meter station, which had a lull in normal operation, in an attempt to receive the bulletin. This was the last opportunity to copy the bulletin. All previous phone, CW, and data bulletins had already been transmitted, so this was our last chance.
Does Julian like the radio stuff?
I don't hear a carrier yet. Usually we'll hear a carrier coming. Until, finally, we lock on to the signal. And we are able to copy the bulletin on a phone. a look. So, tell me a little bit, Glenn, about what's going on here, because I thought you were done cooking, and I thought our meals were done, and what's your plan?
You're gonna eat leftovers. You're gonna like them.
All right.
Yeah.
What about
Well, these look like
no one gets hurt.
these look like terrible leftovers.
Terrible. We're reading some ribs
Subpar
here.
meal conditions here. We got dogs. We got some. What is that? More ribs or burgers? That's burgers.
Burgers. We got dogs.
Thanks to Glenn, K8SGZ, everyone at the field day site was fed and fed very well.
Well, thank you for doing that. That's gonna be a good meal.
Another way the CARC used media was to be featured on the W5KUB Amateur Radio Roundtable webcast.
All right, just want to say hello to all of our faithful viewers out there, and any new people that might have tuned in today. This is Amateur Radio Roundtable, a special edition of Field Day 2016. Hang on just a second. Let me see who we got on here. We got somebody calling in on Skype. Hang on. Hey, how you doing, Joseph?
Yeah, hi. How you doing?
Doing good. Hey, man, you got a good-looking picture there.
Oh, good. I was
let me
hoping
get
that it would
let me
work
get
out.
you on the webcast here. So, we've got Joseph on here. He's with the Cherryland Amateur Radio Club, W8TCM.
Yep, we're running 4 Alpha this year.
Yeah, that's my initials, TCM. Okay, cool. You're up in Traverse City. All right. Hey, the weather looks good up there.
Yeah, actually, we're getting a little bit of shade today. It's been sunny for all day yesterday when we got here, just a little after 2, I guess, in the afternoon, and then all day today up until about the last half hour. It's been really sunny, and now we've got this nice cover of clouds. It's making the 90-degree heat feel a little better.
Well, hey, I see some towers off at the distance there. Is that part of Field Day?
Yeah, actually, we're in the middle of an orchard right now. We're on a hill that behind me here is a cherry orchard. And that's looking west, and looking east we have a view of one of the bays in Traverse City. We have 2 bays, East Bay and West Bay. So this overlooks West Bay off a cliff,
I proceed to give Tom and everyone watching the Amateur Radio Roundtable webcast a tour of the complete site. I don't have time to include the entire video in this presentation, but if you visit w5kub.com or check his archives on YouTube, you can actually replay the entire broadcast.
Station, which is 5 switchable dipoles hanging off the tower. Our CW station is over here with an OCF or Wyndham, and I actually wanted to show you we're doing something different this year. We're going all solar, and it looks like we're maintaining the solar plant right now. We've got a nice panel array here, and it was a home-built trailer that's got a nice containment of some 12-volt DC batteries, a couple inverters, charge controller. It's suited all our needs so far. We haven't had to put gas in the generators yet, but through the night will be the challenge. It'll be the test.
Well, I can tell you the solar arrays you've got there are really nice.
Hey, Chris, what are these output each?
240 watts.
240 watts.
Yeah. So are you guys, do you have a chef? Do you have a food tent there? Are you going to make a big deal about food?
Yes, actually, we stressed that this year. Our chef is Glenn, K8SGZ, and actually yesterday we had a banquet in the field. He was able to prepare filet mignon and or a choice of lobster, and several sides, and there were like 3 dishes for dessert as an option. And that was basically for we invited our spouses and family, and it was it was appreciation meal for putting up with how hams can be with their hobby.
Wow, look at that! Look at that food.
To broadcast it. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, it looks like some of them are already digging in too.
Oh man, you guys are just really making me hungry. I mean, that's some good food right there. tell you the truth. It's,
yeah, and Glenn really went over the top for dinner. So and breakfast and lunch have been great. We actually provide. All we had to do was have people sign up this year to know what the count was going to be, so we knew how much food to buy. But we're doing all of our food today for free, all breakfast, lunch, and dinner for free, and breakfast tomorrow morning. So yeah, all of we're treating this as, if we have to spend a little bit of money on food to get people to come out and have fun, that's worth the investment. That's a better use of our resources, I think, than any equipment in any case. I mean, the primary cool thing about ham radio is fellowship and people, and that's our biggest asset. So
yeah,
people want food, we'll give it to them.
Well, man, hey, the weather looks good there. It's not too hot, I don't think. It's not too sunny. You got a nice setup. You're spread out. You're not interfering with everybody. That's a first-class field day. You guys have done a great job there.
It seemed like before we knew it, the contest was done, the event was over, and it was time to pack up and leave. We had a lot of help. And we needed it. A lot of people stayed to help out. We used every single one of them. Ken, W8QKP, had some contacts who were able to bring a crane truck. This really helped in taking down all of the towers and the antennas.
You want to get behind? Here.
I got the foot. No toes were crushed. Yet. Hey there. 2 down, 1 to go. Hey.
Of the 2,696 clubs, groups, and stations who participated in Field Day in 2016, the CARC was one of 250 in the Great Lakes Division. For those keeping score, we placed 32nd in 250 in the division. W8TCM operated as 4 Alpha in 2016. In this category, 4 Alpha, of 16 groups, the CARC placed 9th. We logged 1379 QSOs, with 35 operators and approximately 66 people visiting the site. The exercise was indeed educational and fun.
At the bottom. We want to keep the top guy, but loose the bottom one. Harder to put them up by hand.
Everyone involved in the experience had a great time, and I hope that you'll welcome the chance to join the Cherryland Amateur Radio Club for a future field day. 73, and see ya on the airwaves.
Hey, that works out nice, Ward.